Welcome back to week 5 of Chalk Talk with Chuck with Jalen and Charlie. Jalen, how are you doing today?
I'm, you know, I I'm good, but I'm so tired of watching the Chiefs and my
Yeah,
cat's just destroying my room.
I am so sick of watching games. I know it's like there's about a minute left in the third quarter when we're recording this, and it looks like the Saints, big fell on the Saints just scooped a fumble, but I'm so sick of watching teams play the Chiefs and do dumb shit and get nervous and choke. And every game the Chiefs play just shitty enough to let the other team have hope and then play just well enough at the end to win and get, maybe a favorable call that keeps everyone talking. It's awful.
Yeah, they're actually, we should just go right into the hate list because they're number one. I don't have anything else on my list, and I actually only have watched what 3 quarters of this game, and I'm so sick of this team already.
Yeah, it's so easy to hate them and I'm so over the whole we were talking about it just before we started. Um I'm so sick of the whole Travis Kelsey thing. I'm so sick of having to watch Patrick Mahomes tilt his head and walk towards the sideline and flip his fingers towards his face. Um, I hate everything about the Chiefs, and it's part of being so great. But yeah, and Travis Kelsey's stupid mustache rivals Joe Burrow's dumb haircut. It's so dumb.
I'm just right when you think they're gonna be bad, like they lost Pacheco, they lose Rasheed Rice probably for the season. They're already short a wide receiver because Hollywood Brown's out the whole year. And then they just bring in these guys and I don't know how Kareem Hunt is still good. But, he looks good in this offense. It's probably more
Yep.
credit to Andy Reid, but it's just like how does it happen every year? I'm watching Noah Gray or whatever his name is catch like 40, 50 yards of passes in the first half.
I mean, part of it is we talk about this every week, but teams, and we just talked about it, teams don't know what to do against the Chiefs. They get overhyped, they get over sketched out, and then they let weird things happen. But part of it, I think, just is when you have the best quarterback in the NFL and when you have one of the better coaches in the NFL, it doesn't really matter who you put out there. I mean, the Patriots did this every year.
Yeah.
Every year. They were like, "Oh, we don't need receivers. Who's like the white guy who plays lacrosse at some like obscure East Coast school? He'll come and be our number one receiver." Um, and they have good skill guys here and there. Like, they had Gronk, these guys have Kelsey. It's almost the same model. It's getting old faster for the Chiefs, I think, than it did in New England. And when I say getting old, I mean I think the players are literally getting older faster than I remember them getting old in New England. Part of that is because I think Gronk came in a little bit later. Kelsey was obviously there before. But when you're that good, and you can just put whoever you want out there, and you're going to win games, and it might not be pretty, but you don't get points for style. And the Chiefs are a constant reminder of that right now.
No, they just get everybody to buy in. Like it's very rare that these guys aren't all on the same page for an entire game.
Yeah, and then
And
I
I'm
think the
just
funniest thing about it, yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm just tired of no one else being able to like do anything about it. Nobody can do anything.
Yeah. Well, and to your point about buying in, it's one of my favorite things that happens in sports is people get a lot of credit for the like quote unquote buying in thing. Like Andy Reid's going to get a ton of credit in his career for these guys buying into the Chiefs culture, and Bill Belichick got a lot of credit for people buying into the Patriots culture. It's not hard to buy in after a team wins 2 Super Bowls. And it's really not hard to buy in after they win 3. And it's a culture. Like don't get me wrong, you have to build something to get there, but once you're there, you're going to sign somebody and they're going to come in the door, and if they don't do what you want them to do, they know that they'll be gone. So they have no choice because they know they just watched, a running back who was essentially disposed of come in and immediately contribute. They watch cornerback after cornerback get turned over to a new team while they bring in a new guy who ends up being better than that guy. Happen in New England, it's going to happen here. It's just so crazy to me. And they seem
Yeah.
inevitable. I mean, it seems like no matter what I'm cheering for this year, whenever I watch the Chiefs, I know that it's not going to be that good, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so like it seems like the Chiefs they're not getting into like shootouts very often, and I genuinely think the only way to beat this team is to like go out and rip off like 21 points in the first quarter and just maybe coast off of that. Like I think it's going to take some serious offensive power to take this team down, because if you get into games with them where you're kicking field goals and it's like a 6 to 13 point game, like they always just hang around and they always make the smart plays and they always are, taking the points when they're supposed to, and then the other team gets nervous and they start doing dumb stuff like going for it on fourth, or like, clock management in this game right before the half. The Saints throw it 3 times with a minute 22 left, and they maybe 15 seconds of clock comes off, and they just give the ball right back to the Chiefs. They come down and get 3. And it's like you just went from a 1 possession game to a 2 possession game. You got to manage the clock better if you want to beat this team.
Well, and what's funny about them getting 3 is, so they're up 13-7 at that point, right?
Yeah.
And any team playing the Chiefs that would have been in that position with 21 seconds, 4th and 2, you're on the 30 or the 25. You feel like just about any team playing the Chiefs would have gone for it on 4th down there, because you got
Yeah.
to go for it, because you're playing the Chiefs, because you got to get the points, because it's the end of the half. And you could, being up 6 isn't enough, but being up 13 would be a statement. But you want to know what being up is enough is? Being up more than one score is enough to make another team have to, recalculate, recalibrate, going up. If the Saints score here, they're going to be, it'll be, they have the choice to be down 4, they'll be down 14-16, as opposed to being up 13, or whatever, because the Chiefs just decided to do that. And now the Chiefs still have all the control in their hand. They can go down and kick a field goal and make the Saints have to score a touchdown. That's the thing that the Chiefs do that drive other teams insane, because they feel like they have to do the extra thing to beat them.
Yeah, it's almost like
While they don't do
it's like
anything
they
extra.
slowly build their lead, and then the other team is like, "Oh crap, we're down 13,
Right.
or we're down
And
15," and it's like, I don't know, man. Just
and
let
when
me
they're
coach a
trailing,
team.
they slowly chip away at a lead. They have no
Yeah.
problem taking points. If a drive were to stall out here for the Chiefs, they'd happily kick the field goal. And if the next
You know what
drive
else
it
they'd
was 7
do?
minutes
They'd
left,
happily
they'd
punt
take a
too.
100%. It's well, it didn't work this drive, but let's not put ourselves in a situation where it could get worse.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Saints score a touchdown here, it gets interesting, but at the same time, yeah. So, great start to the hate list. I can't stand them anymore.
Yeah, I can't either. And everybody else is on bye this week on my hate list. Trevor Lawrence gets a bye.
It's
Coincidentally,
nice of
he
you.
won this week, so I'll let him off the hook. I almost feel bad for the Jaguars at this point, so
Yeah,
I'll
that
let
wasn't
him off
even
the hook.
that's not like a win I'm bragging about if I'm a Jags fan, by the way.
Well, I mean, at this point, you got the same record as the Bengals, so
True. True. Yeah, I mean, my hate list, it's almost always the same at this, right now. There's always the Browns, there's always Lawrence. Even watching Lawrence this week was frustrating because he managed to give the ball to Thomas in the first half, and in the second half he was like, I'm good. Ringer quarterback power rankings haven't come out yet. Still infuriated with that. Still driving. I'm still going crazy with these coaches who are going for it. The going for it epidemic in the NFL is insane. Um, the needlessly going for two, needlessly.
He just
Uh,
missed the extra point.
yeah. Oh, there you go. So Chiefs. Yeah.
Great.
Right. Oh, perfect. Oh, missed the extra point. Now they're down 3. At least they're not down 5 because of the extra point miss. Because we know what happens anytime a team's down by 5 against the Chiefs. They actually forget how to do math.
Their brain just.
It shits itself.
Yep.
God forbid. God forbid you figure out, you kick 3 and then you go down 2. Um, and then the final thing on my hate list this week, and this is just a personal thing, but it's having to watch the Steelers and being a Steelers fan. Last night was awful. Last night was the tip of a very large mountain that I've been climbing, it feels like, for a long time with the Steelers, where the defense has 2 red zone turnover takeaways. They block a field goal, and Brandon Aubrey never misses. So the only way that you're going to prevent him from scoring is by blocking the field goal. And the offense is anemic. I don't know if an offensive coordinator walks into Mike Tomlin's office, he takes the 300-page notebook, he rips out 280 of the pages, and he's like, we'll stick to this. Because I've seen the Steelers run the same 5 plays 25 times a game the past 5 weeks, and I'm over it. If I got to watch
Yeah,
Justin
it was
Fields,
bad.
yeah, if you got to watch Justin Fields roll out to levels on the short hash one more time, I'm going to lose it. And the freaking pitch play to Najee Harris that never works. We love running. We ran a pitch play, Jalen, on 3rd and 6, and then kicked a field goal.
Yeah.
Not to get closer. It's not like we were out of range when we ran it. It's not like we were running to get into range. We were on, the 30. Oh,
I don't know what to think of the Steelers right now. I do. I think I figured everything out. You guys just need to sign Joe Flacco.
dude, how sick would that be?
I have a take. I think if Aaron Rodgers is still starting in the NFL, Joe Flacco should be starting.
Dude, career comparison. How many rings does each of the guys have?
They both have one, right?
They both got one. How many Super Bowl MVPs do both of them have?
Oh, I don't know that. One?
They both got
0?
one. They both
Oh,
got one.
how many torn Achilles do the quarterbacks have?
I only know of
Just
one.
one, right? Just one.
Just one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Who made the
the
playoffs
Flacco
more
thing is
recently?
Flacco looks good, man. I
Always.
don't know how teams like how do you not just sign this guy as a backup? It's insane.
Hey, who's thrown for 300 yards more recently?
Joe Flacco, and he's the last person to throw for 300 yards on the Browns too.
Look, I don't want to just sit here and, Joe Flacco was the bane of my existence for so long because he was pretty damn good with the Ravens, although there was a lull period there where I didn't really care for Joe Flacco. Like, I didn't think that he was all that great. I thought he was there was actually like a really shocking stat at some point in time in Joe Flacco's career where during the NFL year, um, Evan Love had thrown more 30-yard passes in the NBA than Joe Flacco did in a season. But those days are
That's a
behind us.
crazy.
Isn't that crazy? It's a
Yes.
crazy. The 538 had it on their website back when the Joe Flacco elite conversation was going on. You can throw those things away, dude. I watched Joe Flacco the past couple, these past 2 years, really, and the guy's awesome. Okay, he's gonna make Flacco mistakes, but he's awesome.
Bad.
So yeah, you're right. Joe Flacco would look great in a Steelers uniform. You know who else? You know who else I'd love to see in a Steelers uniform because it doesn't matter how limited the playbook is; they just air it out.
Jameis.
Jameis.
Yeah, man. I mean, just get someone in there that's just gonna take a chance. I don't know. The Fields thing, he just I don't know if they have him on like such a short leash, but he just does not throw down the field that much. I don't know if he's just not good or
But when you look at the play design, it's almost as if they just say like we're not going to let receivers run more than 5.5 yards down the field unless they're George Pickens. It's so weird.
yeah,
Fryermuth is so good too. He's been good these past couple
he is
weeks.
good. I saw a video of Pickens route running last night. It was like 3 minutes of him just running like 3/4 speed, and he was still open, but
Because he knows that
he's not gonna get the ball.
if he's beyond 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, the play is not going to him because they don't let Justin Fields do that.
Yeah,
And Justin
his
Fields can run
job is
course.
his job is to drag a side of the field so they can throw a 6 yard pass to Van Jefferson.
Right. Yes. Because
Oh,
that's the
Xavier
right way to
Worthy
use
just
your start
scored.
a receiver. Shocker.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
Bills are still got to be so upset with themselves for letting that. That's still unexplained.
Yeah. Uh,
I'll never understand that.
it's just the universe. They just want the Chiefs to be good. There's nothing we can do about it until Patrick Mahomes retires.
In the
It's
most frustrating
inevitable.
way,
We probably have 10 years of this left in our life.
at least. Maybe he'll get bored, dude.
No,
That'd be sick. No,
I think
you
he's
can't
I
get
think
bored
he's
of that.
going for the I think he's going for the GOAT status.
That's it. That's the only thing that has to be motivating him at this point. So this year, the motivator is nobody's ever three-peated, so they can sell that to the locker room. And then after that,
Travis
he's.
Kelce.
I don't want to. I don't
I
want to talk.
hate this team, Chuck. Travis Kelsey's handing the ball off to him.
Yeah, man.
And it's
It's
like,
so
oh, I
annoying.
forgot to mention Andy Reid right at halftime. The Chiefs run this like super sick lateral play for like 25 yards. It was like
Yep.
third and what felt like 50 for any other team, but honestly felt like a 3rd and 5 for the Chiefs. But they're like, oh, what's up with this lateral play you just ran? And he's like, oh, we practice it every day in practice.
No, you don't.
I don't
You
know. I
don't,
kind of believe him.
dude.
Kind of believe him, man, because Kelsey threw that one last year, and Chiefs fans didn't know what to do because they lost a game. But
Who has time to
you know, I
practice this shit?
I don't know, man.
I
Oh,
I heard Chris Collinsworth last night say the Steelers practice being in situations like this all the time because they like it. And I was like, the Steelers must actually hate me as a fan then.
yeah, yeah. Collinsworth was fun last night.
It's so hard when he's calling the game that your team's in like that.
Oh,
And
Mike,
he
this
just
is worth
jumps
all
over
the
the line
Mountain
of
Dew.
he jumps over the line of scrimmage, puts his hat on that football. Yeah, I see him practicing this. Fucking lose it.
This is worth
That
all
was
the Mountain Dew and coffee that we had to drink to stay up.
and all of the drugs I had to take to be able to listen to Jason Garrett talk for that long.
Oh, dude, that was so rough watching those guys just pull stuff out of their ass for a whole hour before the game kicked off.
Dude, imagine riding on a plane from America to England with Jason Garrett for a road game. like one of those England games. Like, what are you
He's
talking
just
about with him?
he's just doing that creepy smile at you the whole time.
It's just him and Tony Romo in the plane. I don't know, Jason. He's just grinning like the fuck,
Uh,
like a villain in a horror movie.
he's yeah. I don't know why he's on that show, but sure.
He's so bad,
Yeah.
so bad. Well, I know why, because he was the coach of the Cowboys. If you coach for the Steelers, the Cowboys, I don't know, the Patriots, um, you're gonna get a job announcing. I mean,
You think
Bill
they're
Cowher's
gonna have
on.
Fat Mike on after?
Oh, Fat Mike McCarthy, 100%, dude. Fat Mike, he'll get some job because
I
he's,
saw him and Tomlin like chopping it up before the game.
he's from Pittsburgh. McCarthy is.
Mm, Yinzer.
He's a Yinzer, and he beat us in the Super Bowl in, I don't know, 2010, the Rogers Bowl.
He's been riding that Super Bowl for so long. Tomlin kind of has too. I don't. I was thinking about that. Like, if he
Oh,
never
dude,
won a Super Bowl, like, would he even be coaching?
Tomlin won so long ago, dude. So long ago.
Yeah, we were like
I was
10
in
years
seventh
old.
grade. Yeah, I was in seventh grade. I remember it. Probably the greatest game of my
Yeah.
life, but yeah, it was terrible. Um, so we were talking about this, and I said I'd save it for the pod because I think it's just a funny story. But we were talking about the Stavi videos that were released. I lived in Baltimore for a year, for those who don't know. And if you're not following this on any social media platform, you should. But um, what's his first name? What's is it?
He's like Greek. His first name is Stavros, and I
His
think
first
it's
name's
like
Stavros. What's his last name?
Alpios or something. He's got a weird name. Stavros, yeah,
Stavros Halia.
Alpios.
Yeah.
No,
He's everybody knows him as Stavi. He's hilarious. He's
Avi
like a
baby.
really funny comedian from Baltimore, and he does this essentially racist guy from Dundalk, Baltimore, that is
Ravens super fan.
a Ravens super fan. And I was trying I was trying to explain to my dad what this was because I was laughing at it. And my dad is not, he does not use social media. He is not really on the internet. He consumes only Steelers news. He is just a Steelers fan, and he's not into any of the lore outside of it. And I started playing him the videos, and he was laughing so hard at the idea of what this was because
Dude,
there's a
he's the
great
best.
interview with what?
He's the best. Like he
Oh,
puts those
he's
out
so
every
funny.
week, and he's so funny. Anyways, keep going.
And he thinks it's so funny that there's like a sub lore to this thing about this guy's like girlfriend baby mama who wants money from him. Um I showed him the original clip, the like whole thing that started that was the Pardon My Take interview when he says there's something about Flacco.
Something about Flacco. I just can't put my finger
Trust.
on it. something about
Trust him more.
something I trust about Flacco.
Dude, and it is so funny because dude, there are guys like that in Baltimore. They wear the camo pants. They show up to the games, dude. They have this guy at the Ravens game. I don't know what his name is. There's probably a fan name for him, but he like does the chant where you spell Ravens, and he kind of looks like Stavi. He's fat, and like halfway through the game, he'll get up and he'll rip his shirt off. Ravens, Ravens, and he's just like this fat guy with a mustache from that looks just like Stavi that says shit like that
Yeah.
all the time to
Bobby
his friend.
also he also goes by Ronnie the Raven, right?
Yeah, that's the character, right?
Yeah.
Or is that the guy who spells it?
I I'm not as deep into Ravens lore.
Oh,
But I
Ronnie the
think
Raven is is Stavi's sub personality. It's the funniest thing ever,
Yeah.
and everybody should watch it. I guess is the message, the take home message.
Yeah. The message from Stavi this week is when the spirit of Joe Flacco is coursing through the NFL, the Ravens will never lose.
It's probably the truth. These back-to-back weeks, the Ravens have played really well, and it's not a coincidence that Joe Flacco beat the Steelers in one of those weeks, and also threw for 354 yards the next week.
Yeah. 350 and 3 touchdowns.
Unbelievable. Could have been on literally any team because the Browns didn't call him back. Good job by you, Browns. Really proud of. Well, hell of an organization.
Yep.
All right, we can transition into our picks for the week. Do you have the score from last week?
I do. We have different picks on the Chiefs Saints, so we could go 16-15 me or 16-15 you.
Okay, so we had better weeks this week.
Yeah, I had the Saints plus 5.5, so they score
All
here, then
right.
I'm looking good. I also did lose the Vikings game because I picked the over at 40.5, and the game ended 23-17. So I lost a point there. But
Well, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but
oh, it's okay. I'm 5-0. I'll live.
they'll survive. Yeah, and we'll get into that because they don't play this week, but we should definitely talk about them. Um, I guess an easy way to talk about it is this week there are 4 teams on a bye. We've got the Chiefs. Thank God I don't have to watch them for 1 week. The Rams, Miami, who could use a bye week more than any team in the NFL, and your Minnesota Vikings. Last week we did this. This week, what do you want to say about any of these teams on a bye? It feels like the Rams and the Dolphins need the bye week. Um, the Chiefs sneakily need this bye week really bad because I don't think Rashee Rice is out for the season. He's kind of banged up his knee, but it sounds like there's conflicting reports on what may or may not be that situation. And you guys just coming back from England, it's probably nice to have the bye, but I would be scared to get a bye week if I were you guys. You're so hot right now. So what's your thoughts?
Oh, I'm not. I think Sam Darnold got kind of hurt last game.
Okay,
He
yeah.
looked terrible in the second half.
It was
Aaron
literally
Jones.
immediately after the injury.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I mean, he was overthrowing people like crazy. Like Jefferson was getting kind of mad, kind of frustrated with it.
Yeah, I
But
saw
yeah, I
that.
mean, I think we need to buy really bad. Like Aaron Jones got hurt. I think Sam Darnold's banged up. The defense has been there's a few guys that have been kind of battling injuries. TJ Hawkinson's supposed to come back right after the bye.
Oh, that's
So
huge.
yeah, and then we come back and we play the Lions. So
So that's a bigger game than I thought it
yeah,
would be.
it's a big game. It'll probably matter a lot down the line for the division.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, and I was texting you about this, and it's not because it's not what you want to hear, but you guys gutting out a win like that when really I thought that Darnold didn't look very good and the offense got stagnant and it seemed like you were doing things to give the game to New York, but your guys' ability to gut that win out last night, it speaks to how good the team is because it's easy to win games when you've been up. And I know that last week was a bit of a gut check, but this was a real gut check. You're in England, you know, you're X amount of time zones away. You're playing Aaron Rodgers, who's haunted you forever. Your quarterback took a shot in the first half. You're not playing very well since that. And your ability to come out and win that game, I think it speaks miles to where you guys actually sit as a team. Gut checks like that in environments like that mean a lot in the future. So
Yeah,
I was
I
really
agree.
impressed.
I also think Aaron Jones is a lot more important to the offense than I had thought he was.
Yeah.
Was Ty Chandler came in, and I think he's a pretty solid backup, but Aaron Jones has been like he's been really good, and he gets hurt every year, so I'm not like I'm not like bitching about it, and I'm not shocked that he's hurt either. But I think
Yeah, and there's no
you
need to be
have to have
stressed
him
about
healthy.
it, right?
Yeah, I will say too, Darnold did not play a great game, but he had a he had a few throws in the fourth quarter that were right on the money that kind of saved the game too.
And like isn't that kind of all you can ask for?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not expecting my guy to throw like, 3 touchdowns every single week. Like Patrick Mahomes didn't even throw a touchdown tonight. It's gonna happen. You're gonna have to like grind out these ugly games, and the defense stepped up once again. I don't know how they're getting so many turnovers. It's gotta it's gotta stop at some point though. Like the law of averages, I don't know how they're getting 3, 4 turnovers a game. And we had a pick six in the last game. Like I don't know. They're just finding ways to win.
It's your defense is so good. It's fun when your team's playing like this, when you find ways to win. And it was funny. Somebody made a great point going into the beginning of that game because I was listening to sort of pregame shows. I was waking up, and somebody had said, and I think they mentioned it on the broadcast too, that you guys technically have one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL, but that's because you've been up by 4 scores going into halftime, you know, in 4 of your games.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's quite literally 4, but yeah, I mean, of course, your pass defense is going to be bad. You're not going to be going as aggressive as you need to, and you're going to be, you're going to be the
Yeah.
other teams to be throwing 56 times. Your pass numbers aren't going to be great, but man, if you took your first quarter defensive stats, that team's defense would be number one in the NFL in like every category. It feels like.
Yeah, I'd love to see like the first half stats because one thing about this team is they have gotten out to like a massive lead every single game,
Every game,
which kind
even
of
even
scares
in
me
England.
too. But
Yeah,
like I don't know if they know how to play and like play from behind, play in tie games. I think they've led for like all but it's some crazy stat. Like I want to say like under like 10 minutes they've been not been in the lead this year.
yeah, it's crazy. It's and okay, so this was a fun thing too to go to your defensive and the interception thing because it's insane that you guys have really not trailed all year and that you jump out to these leads. But Steph Gilmore has now intercepted Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
How many guys have said can say they've done that? I don't know if he's got Mahomes yet, but it'd be sick if he got him.
Yeah, we can get him in the Super Bowl.
Do you guys not play each other this year?
I don't think so. I mean, I
I
feel
don't.
like we
I didn't
never play the
see.
Chiefs. I have no idea though. I haven't looked that far
I didn't
ahead.
know that the Chiefs played the Saints.
Yeah, they don't really ever. I think Mahomes has played them like 6 times in his career, and he's 6-0, obviously. But
Yeah, I mean that's you know
yeah, I mean, we have the recipe to beat the Chiefs, if I'm being honest.
you do. You have the
Just
ability to
let you
score
have to
early and
you
often.
have to put an avalanche on them in the first half.
And then the thing is the only thing that you would have to change about your game plan is you cannot take your foot off the gas after you take a lead against the Chiefs.
No.
You have to just keep going, keep going. And that's a hard thing to sustain over a full football game, but you see it over and over again. If you take your foot off the gas for even 7 minutes, they can flip 2 scores into 1 score, and then you're back into the shitty panic zone with them.
Yeah, I like our kicker a lot too. I don't think he's missed this year, actually.
He hasn't, which is crazy.
Rookie from
He's a
Alabama.
rookie, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's a big Will. Will the Thrill.
It's
I
awesome.
love him, man. He's great. I love
Yeah.
this team's really fun, man. Kevin O'Connell is such a good coach too. And Flores, like I
Hmm.
don't know. I say it I've been saying it every week, but they're easy to cheer for.
They are, and I think you sent me something today, and I said that it was honest. O'Connell was talking about how he approached Justin Jefferson. There's something very real about this team, and this quote is maybe a little bit more meta than it needed to be, or my takeaway from it was. But O'Connell had talked to Jefferson about how they had made Cup so good, and Cup had essentially told him, or he told Jefferson that Cup learned every route in the tree, not just at his position, but at all the receiving positions for, the Rams playbook. And Jefferson said, that sounds hard. And O'Connell said it is. And then they went and did it. Instead of, I feel like coaches get into that moment and they Disney it up a little bit and they'll say, and Jefferson looked at me and said, I can do that. I can be even better. Or, I got you, coach. Let me do that. It could be hard, but I'll do it. But he was just honest, and he's like, yeah, he said it was hard, and I told him it was, and then we went and did it because that's how it works. Because that's the real conversation people have, and that kind of honesty, I think it's sick. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was nice not to have the Disneyfication of the conversation.
for sure. And like that just shows like how good Cooper Cup is too. Like Justin Jefferson going to O'Connell and being like, how's Cooper Cup open all the time? And then he's like, well, he knows the X slot, the Y slot, Z slot. He knows how to play from every position. And it kind of makes sense now because I'll be watching games and I'm like, how do these defenses lose Jefferson ever? Like, how is he just wide open across the middle all of a sudden?
Because they're
And
lining
he's
him up in
he's
every
he's
spot.
always open. Yeah, he's always open.
It's the next level of football, and it's the next level of being great, I think, at that position and really at positions period in the NFL outside of being quarterback. I mean, if you're quarterback, you need to have all of the other skills, right? But if you're a running back who can also catch, like Le'Veon Bell was able to do, or
Oh
if
yeah.
you're a tight end who can line up outside, like Kelsey and Gronk could do, when you're able to do the extra two things, when you're able to play the position from a different position on the field that is the same position, it changes everything. Um,
Yeah.
it makes you so much more dynamic, and it's insane to me that it's taken it because if I drafted a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, a whoever, one of these guys at the very top of the game at the receiving position, I would make them learn. If that's what's working for these other teams, I'm making my guy do that. And if he can't do it, I'm looking for the guy who can because it makes such a big difference. I mean, Jefferson makes a huge difference out there.
Yeah.
So there's my take because Debo does it too
Yeah. Debo's
when he's healthy.
very, very talented. Yeah.
He does the extra thing. He plays he plays running back.
Yeah. He's uh yeah.
He's
Well, he
insane.
only had like 3 touches last game, so we'll get to that though.
We'll get to that. We're gonna get to it right now. So we'll jump in this week. Based on what's going on right now, it looks like the Chiefs are going to win by 10. So I think you're going to because I don't did you take the Chiefs to cover?
No, I took the Saints.
Okay, so I'm probably going to get the
Well,
point
Derek Carr
there.
went out, so
Oh,
I didn't bank on that. But yeah, it looks
no,
like it's
nobody
gonna
nobody
be
did.
16-15 this week.
Okay.
So yeah,
Do we have an
who's the
overall?
loser? I can tell you that you are up by 4.
All right, I'm +4. All right. Well, Thursday night this week, we get a NFC West matchup, a rivalry that I didn't know was such a rivalry until two of my friends were fans of these teams and they bark at each other all year about this game. But it's Niners at Seahawks. The Niners are 3.5 point favorites. The over/under set at 47.5. I don't know what to make of what just happened with the Seahawks this week. I don't really know what to make of what happened to the Niners. I'm tempted to scrap it and then look at this game as if it were the week before going into it, and then I would still just be just as confused. I don't know if the Seahawks are coming off of a hangover from that Monday night game, but and that's why they lost to the Giants. And these division games, my Uncle Maz, shout out Uncle Maz, he's out there somewhere, made a good point. No matter what, they're always close. So I do think the Niners are going to win this game, but I don't think they're going to cover. I think this is a 3 point game. So I'm going to take the Niners money line and the Seahawks to cover, and I'm going to avoid the over under.
Yeah, so the Seahawks are experiencing something called the Lions hangover, where after you play the Lions, teams have lost every single week after they play the Lions
Interesting.
this year. Kind of a weird stat, but yeah. I'm going to take the 49ers, though. I think
Mm-hmm.
I have a theory about last game because last game was so ugly offensively. And I think it's because Brandon Ayuk has been so unhappy about not getting the ball. And Kyle Shanahan was like, all right, dude, well, here's 15 targets. Let's see how good we are with you getting the ball every single time. Because Jawan Jennings
Yeah,
had like one catch. Debo had like 2 catches for 11 yards and 1 rush. And I was like, what are we doing? Why are we throwing to Ayuk? Like, he legit had like 13, 14, 15 targets somewhere in there.
the bending of the knee to players like that drives me crazy. One thing I do think too about that game was they lose their kicker early in the game, and for the rest of the game they can't kick field goals. And there were plenty of situations where they were in field goal range and then had to go for it. And if they had had Moody, and even if he had missed two of those opportunities, they still would have won the game. Being able to carry over the momentum of just getting points is a big deal. Being able to kill a team's will to come back. If you're scoring on the majority of your drives because you're in field goal range and you're kicking field goals and you're scoring, it's going to chip away at the other team's armor a little bit. And the Cardinals' armor never got chipped away at because they essentially were able to play defense for 99 yards. They didn't have to play defense for, you know, 60 yards or whatever you want to call it. And that's a big change when you're able to change your defensive philosophy to say, okay, well, no matter what, we just know that we don't have to let you cross the line. So,
Yeah, I have a side note for this. I'm fascinated at how punters cannot sub in for kickers and kickers can't sub in for punters. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, I think that Wisnowski can try to kick the field goals, right?
He can, but like they gave him like a 20-yarder and it seemed like if they were any further than like 30 to 35 yard, they were not going to try and kick it.
I think it's just a lot harder than we give it credit for.
Yeah. It
Like,
must be because I don't know. I just don't get it.
this is why Ocho Cinco was so valuable for the Bengals. He could kick.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why this has happened twice already this season. If I was a good team, you got that extra roster spot. I know that you can use a QB, but I don't know. Like, what's the point of your ninth receiver on the roster? Just make your running back do that job. Uh,
Yeah, just pull the receiver up from practice squad if you need him for that week.
right. I would carry two kickers. I feel like it. Well, it's probably not worth it when you do the math out on it, but man, when you lose your kicker in a game, that sucks. It's pretty much like we're probably going to lose this game.
Yeah, I don't know why Jake Moody was like trying to make tackles either because Brady was on the call and he's like every time a kicker or punter was trying to go for a tackle on the returner, I was just like holding my breath the whole time, saying, please no, don't pull a hammy, don't do this, or like you're gonna put us in a really bad situation." So I don't know. I think it's kind of poor decision making on his part. I mean, I know you want to give it your all, but like,
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't. Bad decision.
Poor decision. But it sounds like we're pretty much on the same page looking like there. Did you take the
Yeah,
Niners coverage?
I'm gonna take him to cover too because I think the
Okay.
Seahawks are just not. They're really banged up on defense right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is a Thursday game though, so you never know with these. It's a shot in the dark when you're
Shot in the dark.
picking on a Thursday, but yeah, I'll take him to cover. I expect the Niners to bounce back after last
Nice.
week.
Nice. Next game, it's the England game. Jags Bears. Bears are favored by 1.5. The over/under's at 44.5. It's starting to come together for the Bears, it feels like right now. And Caleb Williams feels like he's starting to get his bearings. The Jags come off of a win in a kind of thrilling and fun game against the Colts. But if I was a Jags fan, I would be freaking out. I wouldn't be stoked on that win. I'd be like, oh my God, we, escaped with a victory in that game. Um, who do you like? What's your take?
I like the Bears. I think the Bears defense is gonna do a
Yeah.
lot of bad things to Trevor Lawrence. Caleb seems like he's figuring it out.
It's coming a little slower than I think everybody thought it was going to come to him. It's the first sort of this is the most hype I've ever seen behind a guy. I think it's in a very, very long time. It's the most hype I've seen. Maybe honestly, what's funny is probably since Lawrence. It's the most
Yeah.
Prince who was promised sort of scenario. Surefire 1-1 guy. And the first couple weeks were brutal, but this week he started to figure it out. He had I think a couple, touchdown passes, and I granted it's the Panthers, but you're going to take what you can get. He threw for 300 yards. He only missed 9 passes. He had no interceptions. I think I saw the touchdown pass to DJ Moore 700 times, but it was a nice throw. Um, so it does appear that they've figured some things out there. I'm with you. Bears win, Bears cover, and based on what I've seen from the Jags defense, I'm tempted to take the over. But we're in England, so I'm gonna hold off on it. But I want the
What
world
is
to
it?
know that
44 and a
44 and a
half?
half.
Hmm.
I just don't know if how many points the Jags are going to score. Are the Jags going to score 10 points? Probably not.
I don't know. Didn't they score 10 against the Bills?
That Bills defense might not be. They might not be it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like that's a bad defense, and the Bears defense is good. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Okay,
could see
yeah.
him scoring 10 for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Taking the over then?
hmm, no, I'm gonna stay away. God, that was tough, but I'm gonna stay away
Soft.
because, well, this next game is the best game of the week. I don't think it's even close. I don't think there's anything this week. A lot of this week is really bad. A lot of this week is borderline unwatchable football, but this next game is awesome. It's Commanders Ravens in Baltimore. Ravens coming off a game where Lamar Jackson and that offense and everything looked so awesome. They couldn't stop them on defense, but the offense looked unbelievable. And the Commanders are coming in red hot. I think the Commies have scored over 30 in their past in every game this season except for one. I know that they did in that Giants game, and they look good. They look really, really good. They've
Yeah,
the pat since week 2 they've gone 34, 42, 34. Pretty awesome.
yeah,
Or 38, 42, 34.
they're a unit, and the Ravens have kind of shown that you can throw on them.
Hmm.
Um, I think this is going to be a shootout, just like the Ravens Bengals game was. I'm so
I
excited
think
for
so
this
too.
game.
I am too. It's gonna be my 1 o'clock on the main screen. Quad boxes, borderline unwatchable. Um, I mean, I guess there's one other game during 1 o'clock slate that I'm excited about, but um, or two. There's two. This is an insane game. If Lamar and Jaden Daniels both play as they've been playing these past couple of weeks, there could be 60 to 80 points scored in this game. That being said, it's this 6.5 point line. Teams that are favored by like around a touchdown or a touchdown more this year are not doing so hot covering. I don't think that I think there's like below a 20% cover rate, and there's a flat out just money line take the other team thing. It's crazy to me that the Ravens are 6.5 point favorites. I do think the Ravens will win, but I think the Commanders will cover, and I like the over.
Yeah, I'm going the exact same as you. I think
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way this game goes under, which probably means it will.
Yep.
This is gonna be like the Spider-Man meme of Jaden Daniels and Lamar. Lamar's more
Oh, I
talented as a
know.
runner, but like they're kind of the same prototype of
Even Jaden
QB.
Daniels though this last week, there's that 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 play where he's dropped way too far back. He avoids the sack and then he goes all the way down to the 5 from the 40.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, they kind of make like the same Superman type plays. I mean, that play
Oh,
from Lamar this week was one of the most insane plays I've ever seen in my life. Him just
unbelievable.
stiff arming that guy and doing a fadeaway throw to Likely after like what felt like a minute of scrambling was probably like 8 or 10 seconds, but still, I mean, he is so fun to watch.
There are even moments where, and sounds so Chris Collinsworth of me, where he throws an incompletion or he's just throwing the ball away, where I think, like, how did he get there? How did he get to the point where he was throwing that ball? There were so many times in that game where he was wrapped up in the backfield, and there were 2 or 3 Bengals coming at him, having a chance at him, grabbing his leg, pulling him down, and he manages to get away. Not only does he get away, but he manages to throw the ball in the vicinity of a receiver or out of the pocket over the line of scrimmage. And I mean, my dad was in the living room just screaming, "Get him! How are you not getting him?" And flipping out. But that's just how unbelievable he is.
Yeah, I kind of do think him losing a little bit of weight has made him even harder to tackle because it feels like he's just slipping through people's arms. Like a lot of the time, he's just like too small to get wrapped up, and he just finds a way to get out. And then like he's so strong, too, to be able to like
That's what I was gonna say. Oddly
stiff
so
arm that guy.
strong.
Like he's just an insane athlete. Probably the greatest dual threat quarterback in NFL history.
Easily. Easily the greatest. And it's really fun. I actually, when I moved to the East Coast, when I moved to DC, it was Lamar's rookie year, and my uncle has the season tickets to the Ravens game, and I got to see Lamar play in some of his very first NFL games. I don't think I was there for the very first game, but I was there for the very beginning of the Lamar run and have gotten to watch Lamar live and see him play throughout the years because my uncle would give me, I don't know, I saw him 4 or 5 times a year. And his passing ability has gotten so much better from that first year to now. And he does not get enough credit for developing that skill. Some people are like, "Well, he's always been able to pass or whatever." I don't think no quarterback's always been able to do everything, but he's developed the skill of being a genuinely good passer. Maybe not the best, maybe not even top, 3, 4, 5 as a passer, but he's so athletic and he's so talented and he's so coordinated that he's become a very, very respectable passer in the NFL, and no other freak athlete quarterback was ever able to do that. He's the first.
Yeah, I think this Ravens team is scary. Like they're gonna have some stupid losses throughout the rest of the season, but like I don't know, dude. They're just like they're an offensive force. With Derrick Henry, like seeing the dynamic of those two, it's finally like developing into kind of what everyone thought it would be. Like, oh, you can't play defense on us the same way because we have Derrick Henry.
It's
And we
crazy that they're
will
able to run the
we
ball.
will run it for dude, their rushing yards over the second team in the NFL, like rank 1, rank
Mhm.
2, they're like 750 yards ahead of everybody else in rushing yards.
And that's the only thing too that I think matters to me more than anything when you get down the stretch. And it's crazy that we've hit this narrative that they're so good at running the ball, because do you remember what we were talking about after week 1 against the Chiefs? How
Yeah.
that O-line was not good? Forget about that. That's like the biggest week 1 overreaction if you want to look back at week 1 and think about things that we overreacted to.
There's a
They're
lot.
fine. There is they're as fine as fine gets in Baltimore when it comes to the O-line play.
Yeah, and Derrick Henry looks like so happy to be on this team too. I don't know if you saw him post game, but he was calling Lamar the GOAT. And I'm just like, dude, you've never played with anybody this good in your life.
Not even close. And what's crazy is yes, he's never played with a quarterback as good as Lamar, but he's never played with he could have gone anywhere, but he goes to the only other place where the quarterback is equal a threat to him in the running game. The two biggest running threats in the NFL for the past, I don't know, or the three biggest running threats. I almost forgot about Christian McCaffrey. But the three biggest running threats for the past 5 years have been Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, and Lamar Jackson. And two of them are on the same team and share the backfield for 60% of the snaps in a game. And they
Yeah.
use him perfectly. It's unreal. They use
They
King
do,
Henry
and like
perfectly.
them them deciding like, oh, you guys think we forgot about Zay Flowers? Well, here he's gonna put 111 yards on you this week.
Right. Right. People
Like,
writing Zay Flowers off.
ugh.
No, we just don't
I
need to
want
use
them to
him.
get Devontae Adams so bad.
Yeah, dude, I can't have that. I cannot play Devonte Adams, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. That, by the way, welcome
Mark
back, Mark
Andrews.
Andrews. Dude,
Don't you
he had
mean
like catches
Kolar?
this week. Oh,
Oh,
sorry,
dude,
Isaiah
Kolar.
Likely,
Kolar's the oh, dude,
Charlie Kohler.
yeah, the guy who you think is Mark Andrews.
Yeah, dude, Charlie Kohler. Congratulations, guy who made most fantasy managers pissed off this week. Goes to Charlie Kohler, who looks and wears the number 1 off from Mark Andrews in the '80s. Looks just like him and caught a touchdown, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
On
he.
both of those, you know that there were guys like, finally, let's go, Andrews.
Yeah, they just I don't know, man. I'm cheering for the Ravens. I want them to get revenge on the Chiefs this year, really bad.
Look, if it comes down to Ravens Chiefs, I want the Ravens to beat them so bad. So bad.
Yeah, and I think, look, man, you can
And
do
that's a
whatever
Steeler
you
fan.
want throughout the season. If you cannot run the football, you will lose in the playoffs. You have to be able
Mm-hmm.
to run the ball. I know you said it like a minute ago when we were talking, but you can't win if you can't run the ball, and they can run the shit out of the ball. So
They can run it in a lot of different ways, too.
yeah, we'll see.
From the
Even
gun, from the pistol, from under the hood, inside,
I want to
outside the
give
tackles, zone, man
there
run scheme. They can do everything.
there needs to be an award for like the most underrated player in the league because I think it's Justice Hill.
Dude, he's
That guy
awesome.
shocks me every single week. I'm like they throw these like little screen passes to him, and he runs so hard. I'm like, how is this guy like? How is he a backup? I feel like he could start on some teams, but I don't know, man. I think I've
There
glazed the Ravens enough, but they're a really good team and they're fun to watch.
there does need to be an award for the. Oh my God! What? Derrick Henry's not out there, but they ran, and the guy actually got yards.
Yeah.
The backup running back to the bell cow who's actually kind of good. It was Tony Pollard for years. It was like, oh, they took Zeke out. Here comes Pollard. Oh, wait, shit, that guy's actually pretty good too. Great call. He's taking the Tony Pollard, mantle. He's not as good as Pollard was for the and Henry's obviously the gap between the two is larger, but yeah. All right, next game. Actually, another pretty good game. You took the Ravens to win, Commies to cover.
Yeah, and I took the over.
Yeah. Okay. I thought we went the same there. Um, Next game, another good game that I'm excited about. Weird game. Packers, Cardinals. Cardinals coming into Green Bay. Green Bay's 5.5 point favorites. It's a 49.5 point over under. What are you feeling?
I talked so much crap on the Cardinals this week. I don't think I can pick them for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and I feel like this is a classic. Like, oh, the Cardinals.
Yep.
They beat the 49ers, and then like they come out next week and they look like, you know, just the complete opposite of what they were. So I'm
And
not
we
gonna get
already
too high on the Cardinals.
no, and we've already touched on part of this. As far as the Cardinals end of it goes, the Cardinals really shouldn't have won that game. If Jake Moody plays, they probably don't. You and I were texting halfway through the fourth quarter about how much we hate the team and how out we are on them. My position hasn't changed on that. And God, people who listen to this must think that we when we talk about football, we get along and just agree on everything. The reality is Jalen and I rarely agree on anything. Just so happens that we work so far in the opposite direction that we come to the same conclusion. But yeah, I think the Packers are going to win. I like the Packers to cover. I think this is a classic spot where the Cardinals just lay a fat egg. And for some reason, they can't figure out that they have other weapons on their team than their rookie receiver.
Dude, they try to force the ball to Marvin Harrison so much, and they go away from it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we have James Conner. Oh yeah, we have Trey McBride. Oh yeah, this Michael Wilson guy. He's like, I feel like he's like 6'3". I might be wrong, but we have this other giant receiver out here that we can throw the ball to as well." And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, Marvin Harrison's open now. Oh, what do you know?" It
It's
drives me
so
insane watching this team.
and it's I was so in on them coming in. I was so excited. Kyler had that, it seemed like the end of the year before the year where they're kind of scrappy. And they just did beat the 49ers, but I've already kind of pretensed what I thought about that. But I just yeah, I'm in Packers. Yeah. And the Packers, look, they've got a little bit of a problem with closing games out, it looks like here. They got a little bit of a problem with playing a little bit sketchy. Jordan Love's got to rein in some of those insane. He has he's got some Levis tendencies in him. He's got some
Just one play.
yeah, but he has like a tendency to be a little bit too risky at times.
Yeah.
That would scare me if I'm a Packers fan. I love him obviously, and I think that he's extremely good, and he makes some throws that are unbelievable. And it seems like he can just throw to anybody. He's another guy. It doesn't really matter who they march out there for the receiving corps. It seems like he manages to find a new guy every week to just make his guy. This week it was Tucker Kraft. Yeah, just a good,
Yeah,
really solid player.
I'm just gonna chalk this one up to no, you guys played Sean McVay. Like I think we can just throw everything out the window when you have to play against a coach like that.
That's so fair.
Because
Yeah.
he makes teams like I don't know. He always ends
He's
up like covering, getting the most out of his players. He's just an amazing coach.
he's
So
got a bit of a
I'll just
Mahomes
credit him.
effect.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
a bit of a Mahomes effect to him. I don't. Oh, great. Oh, wait, no.
Unwatchable, this game.
Yeah, this next game is completely unwatchable. You've got Texans, Patriots. Texans are 7-point favorites on the road. It's a 37.5 point over under. Okay, so there's all these numbers about teams that are favored by more than 7 playing other teams, and I actually am buying into it right now. I think the Texans are going to win, but I think the Patriots are going to cover. And I think it's going to be super ugly, and I think the Patriots are going to just play really good defense, and their offense isn't going to be able to do anything. But there's something weird about the Patriots this year where it feels like, except for in one game, they've held the opponents to under 20 points. And they've held them well over 20 points. So they gave up 23 to the Seahawks in overtime, but they gave up 10 to the Bengals, 3 to the Jets. Or, oh no, they gave up 24 to the Jets, 30. Oh no, I read these things backwards. It's the amount of points they
Yeah.
scored.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm dyslexic. Sorry, people. You're going to have to forgive
I
me
was
on
gonna
this
try
one.
to talk you off the edge with this one. I was just letting you finish first.
Oh, man, I just had like a really hardcore dyslexic moment. It's really embarrassing.
Cool.
It's cool. It's fine.
King of
Yeah, no,
Lightning
never
has
mind. Dude, I like prepped this game. I wrote all these numbers down. I was really stoked to make this point about how the Patriots are scrappier than they seem. I couldn't believe these defensive numbers.
Oh, they're
It's
just
like, how'd they
bad, dude.
lose? They only scored 3 points.
Uh,
Yeah, no, all right. Texans to cover. It's just we can move
yeah,
on.
so I think I was just about to say if you think Miami can win by 5, you don't think the Texans can win by 3 more than the Dolphins?
Yeah. No, that's
I hear
fair.
you with the 7-point favorite stuff. It's weird. Nico Collins is probably going to be out too. But
Yeah.
the cool thing about the Texans is they have Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell. So I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah. I think they'll be fine.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
Texans and Texans -7. I kind of want to take the over because 37.5 is
So
extremely
low.
low.
I just don't. Now that I look at the points in the inverse, I don't know if I have any faith for the Patriots to score. Period. If the
Yeah,
Texans go up 14-0 in the first quarter, are the Patriots are they going to score?
I don't know, dude. I don't even know who's going to play quarterback for them next week.
I don't think they have any choice but to just play Brissett as long as they can because if you put Drake May out there, he's just going to get murdered.
Well, they should throw in Joe Milton.
Dude, call up the Colts. Hey, are you going to put Richardson back in? We'd love to take Flacco off your hands.
Yeah, I don't want to see Joe Flacco die. So,
Hey, how is that not the first call Miami made, by the way?
dude, I I can't tell you. I have no idea. Because Joe Flacco can run apparently too. He hit like
Hey, he's
18
got
and a
some
half
legs.
miles an hour. Got some wheels.
I
Man.
love the mile per hour stats, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing gets me more fired up than when they're like, and Joe Flacco took off. Look at him get up to 18 miles an hour. I'm like, nothing makes me feel like more of a piece of shit than watching Joe
Yeah.
Flacco get up to 18 miles an hour.
Dude, he made a tackle too, right?
Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah,
course he
this
did.
guy just does
Just
everything.
a gritty guy. He's a football guy, dude. That is a true football
Yeah,
guy.
he's the best.
He's the best. We don't have a line for this next game. Are you going to take the over or are you going to stay away?
I'm staying away.
Yeah, smart. We don't have a line for the next game. Bucks Saints. I think this is probably where we'll begin to differ.
I'm taking the Bucks.
Damn, so am I.
Yeah, I
It opened at Bucks plus 2.5, so I guess we'll go off of that.
what?
Over unders at 45.5. Yeah, the Bucks. That was the opening. I don't have a line on it. Let's just both just say we're gonna take Bucks money line and only let a point be up for this one because we don't know what the spread is or anything.
Oh, we can just go off 2.5 too. I'm fine
It
with
was
that.
plus 2.5 for the Bucks, though. I can't imagine they'll be favored if Carr's actually hurt.
Well, he might be fine. I don't know. If he plays, we can just do the old like what is it? Teams at home is like the -1.5 now.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
So we could just I don't know. Either way, I don't think the Saints are winning this game.
I guess it doesn't matter if we're taking it on the spread if the Bucks are plus money anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think
I
the Saints are.
watched the. I don't know if you saw
They're
this.
running out
If
of
you
gas.
didn't, I need to send it to you. But Baker dressed up as a guy, a Bucks super fan by the name of Gus Swayze,
Oh, you got to
and
send this to me.
he went around the facility. There's a whole YouTube video about it. It's like 30 minutes long. He goes around the facility with all these other Bucks super fans, and he's like touching all the stuff in the locker. The people don't know that are like showing the fans around either. The Bucks workers, they don't know that it's Baker. So he's like doing all this
That's.
weird
Oh, I
stuff,
did
you
see
know.
that. That was so cool.
And then they get to the end and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna have you guys throw footballs." And then Baker just hucks one like 50 yards, and he's like, the whole time he's like, "I gotta loosen my knee up," and he's got like this brace on his knee. Um, but yeah, he just starts hucking balls 50 yards, and there's some really cool stuff in there about like the fans didn't even know, but they were all just talking about how much they love Baker the whole time. So I know he was really feeling good about Tampa, but I love Baker. His team is still pretty underrated. I know they're banged up on
Hmm.
defense, but I will never get tired of watching Mike Evans catch touchdown passes.
Yeah. Here's a point that I think I've been making, and I may have made it last week, but I love having him on my fantasy team. It's the
Yeah.
I have avoided Mike Evans. I had this horrible take that he wasn't that good like 5 years ago, and I think I made this point, but I've come back on it, and I'm happy to admit I was wrong. Having him on my fantasy team is the greatest joy in the world. It's awesome.
Yeah, their running game is. I kind of like what they're doing, like splitting the carries between uh, White and Bucky.
Yeah, and I like that, Bucky
Godwin
fumbled
looks
last
good.
week, and they
Yeah.
just went right back to him. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean that's what good coaches do is they just you know show that they have faith in the guy. Ty Chandler did the same thing. He fumbled on one of the pitch plays in the Vikings game, and O'Connell was doing an interview after, and he's like, "Yeah, he's gonna be a big reason or a big part of our game plan today." And they handed it right off to him right after that. So
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I mean, I know they lost, but I like this Bucks team, and I love going back to the guy after the fumble. It's a nice touch.
yeah,
His
that
little
that
fake.
Thursday game was weird too.
Thursday games always are weird. I don't think that you're allowed to count Thursday games as much, but
No, I don't either.
all right, next game. I hate this game. I hate this game for a lot of reasons. Part of it is because I can't stand one of the coaches, and I hate one of the players, and I hate one of the organizations. But we've got Browns, Eagles. Eagles are 8.5 point favorites at home against the Browns. It feels like a get right game for the Eagles, which it probably will be. It's an 8.5 point spread, which is insane. 43.5 points for the over under. I keep coming back to 8.5 points, looking at that going, it's too big. I've already taken the Texans to cover. I've already taken the Packers to cover the 5.5. One of these teams is going to cover one of these big spreads. So I'm going to take the Eagles money line, Browns to cover. I hate I hate the Browns so much, and I don't like
Charlie
watching
picked
the
the
Eagles.
Browns.
I know, right? I mean, shocker, right? The world is going to explode, um, and fall apart with this new information that none of us have ever thought about. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it feels so weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate this 8.5. I think it's completely ridiculous, but I just after this last week, dude, the Browns looked so bad against the Commanders.
Yeah, no, they did. They looked really, really bad. I know, dude. I'm gonna stick to my guns though on this.
Okay. I'll take the
Are you
Eagles.
gonna
I,
go the
I
other
could
way?
yeah, I am. I'm gonna take the Eagles 8.5. I
Yeah.
think Devontae Smith is gonna be back at least. I think AJ Brown is close to playing. I'm not sure if he's going to play for this one, but I think
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Smith is going to be back. So, you know, bet the over on him. And I do think Saquon can annihilate this team. So, especially with Miles
Yeah.
Garrett out.
Yeah, 100%. God, I know.
I don't feel great about it though. 8.5 is a lot of points, dude.
Eight and a
There could
half is
be
a
some
lot of points,
stupid
man.
touchdown at the end that makes cover too.
And dude, I mean, it feels. I don't know. There's got to be the Browns have to be setting the record for team where the camera is panned to their backup quarterback the most in NFL history. I mean, they pan the freaking camera to Jameis Winston every single time there's a change of possession because the Browns didn't do something, and every time there's a bad throw by Watson, it's like something shitty happens on offense. Let's go over to Jameis Winston. Browns are punting. Let's show Jameis Winston. The other team just scored. Let's show Jameis Winston. At some point, he's got to come in. I
Yeah,
mean,
you know what Jameis is telling himself though, right?
what's he saying?
He's saying God's telling me I'm not ready to go in the game yet. When
Dude, and
God tells
that's,
me I'm
dude,
ready, I'll be ready.
I want to live my life like that.
Yeah. He seems like a very, very happy man.
He
And
does,
I
doesn't
know
he?
this team is tired of blocking for Deshaun Watson.
I think they're tired of everything for Deshaun Watson. I think the receivers are sick of running routes for him. I think the defense is tired of getting him the ball back. I think there's a universal hate.
I think Kevin Stefanski is like being held at gunpoint right now. Because there's no way did you see him after the game? He walked straight in and he's like, we're not changing quarterbacks.
Oh, it's the ownership is 100% saying, hey, we're not changing quarterbacks. We made this move and we're sticking to it. And I don't care what happens.
Like, is it because once they bench him, there's like no going back and he's just dead money pouting on the bench?
Yeah, I mean, well, so here's the thing. The dead cap hit is so much. I think it's somewhere around 80 or 90 million. And that's just on the salary. They're still paying the guy the 200 million that's left or whatever it is on his contract. That's just the dead cap hit for the next year or two.
72.9.
72. Okay, so 72.9 hit in dead cap, which is just suicide.
That's just this year. He holds 172 million of dead cap after this season.
Okay, so it's insane, right? The amount of money that he holds over their head. So you're paying this guy exorbitant amounts of money. And I don't know. There's no other place in the world where it works like this, where you can't fire the guy because, except for in sports where the money's fully guaranteed in a contract and you have to pay him out. But they're just it just seems like it doesn't. I don't care how bad it gets. We're going down this shit with this ship. But Kevin Stefanski, I was talking to a Browns fan this week. You can't fire him. He's won Coach of the Year twice.
He's a great coach.
He's a great coach. And the fact that Deshaun Watson can't play with him means that Deshaun Watson is the problem. If you know what the problem is, you should address it. But the Browns screwed themselves here.
Dude, this is I feel so bad for Stefanski having to go from Flacco to Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I feel bad. Well, I feel bad for everybody on that team. I feel bad
True.
for
Yeah.
every player and every coach on that staff.
Yeah, it's I think it's the worst contract in sports history.
It has to be. It has to be. And the way that they're letting it play out is maybe the worst organizationally that I've ever seen.
It's like, yeah, he's our guy. Like, remember 4 years ago? He'll figure it out.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. It's some rich guy that doesn't even watch sports.
Oh, it's
It
crazy.
sucks, but I get a good laugh out of turning the Browns games on.
Yeah, it's
So
always fun, right?
yeah, it's just crazy they let Baker go.
Yeah, it's insane that they let Baker go.
Yeah. Oh well, don't even bring Nick Chubb back. Just let him rest the whole year.
Yeah, dude, don't do that to him. That's cruel and unusual punishment.
Nick Chubb wants to kill this guy. I'm with you though. I think everybody on the team hates him. All the fans hate him too. He has to be the most like I don't know if there's ever been another player that a fan base has collectively hated more than this.
I agree. I hate every aspect of this. So,
Yeah, that's Browns talk. Week 6. We'll probably say the same
week
exact
6
thing
Browns
next
talk.
week.
I promise we at some point we'll stop talking about it, but it just sucks because they could
We're
have
just
had
gonna
Baker and this would be fun.
by week 10 or 11, we'll just be like, and the Browns are the Browns. We'll just move on.
That used to be my old saying. The Browns are the Browns no matter what, and they are. Colts
Deshaun
Titans.
Watson is still starting next game.
Yeah, dude. If week 10 Deshaun Watson's starting.
Oh, dude, you just pay your O-line extra to just not block. Yeah, let's be real though. Deshaun Watson knows how to hit people.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, sorry, we gotta just move on. We're dragging
We
this
gotta
way
move
too
on.
long. Wait, did you hear Terry Bradshaw? This like
Oh
on
my
the set
god,
this
dude.
week? Dude, that was
What
so
did he say
funny.
that they
He's
need
like,
they
I
need
think they gotta put Deshaun Watson down.
Yeah, like he's a dog.
Yeah. What's the guy's name on there? The host? He was
Oh,
like,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's a little bit harsh, Terry, but maybe bench him. Like, okay.
He's like, oh, you know what I mean.
Hey, Terry said what Terry said.
Colts Titans. Titans -1.5. Or no, Colts -1.5. Over under 43.5. This game is really not watchable to me, especially. I mean, if Flacco's out there, I feel like there should be more points for the Colts, but I think they're going to play Richardson, and I don't know. I'm just not a Richardson guy. I haven't bought in. I feel like the Titans are going to play Levis if they can, coming off the bye after the injury. What's funny is if this is Levis versus Richardson, I'm less inclined. If it's Flacco versus Rudolph, I'm more inclined to watch.
This game sucks.
This game sucks. Somebody's got to upset somebody this week. Why not the Titans? The Colts come off of a big win in the division. They got to go into Tennessee and play. I'm going to take the Titans.
Wow.
Cover in the spread. Yeah. Going to go
Yeah.
bold.
Okay. Please give me a Will Levis highlight. I'm taking the Colts. I kind of
Okay.
want to take the over because the Colts defense is really bad. They made Trevor Lawrence look like he deserved 55 million a year. It's at 43.5. No, I'll just take the Colts 1.5. -1.5.
Okay. Yeah. Not much to say about this game.
No. If Flacco's playing, it'll be on. If he's not, then forgettable.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Totally
Flacco's
forgettable.
playing, I want the over though. So I'll
Okay.
I'll come
I'll
back and
let you
edit
caveat
this.
that. I will let you caveat
Okay.
that. That's fair.
If Flacco's playing, this team will put up 35 points.
As long as if I can caveat if Flacco's playing, I'd like to change my pick to the Colts.
Ooh, that's too far. But I'll let you have it because you would if you knew Flacco was playing, you'd never pick the Titans. So I'm okay with
No,
it.
no. But I just feel like they're going to put Richardson out there, and then we're going to get weird Richardson picks and weird Levis
Yep.
picks, and it's going to be awful.
Nope. Richardson will probably get hurt.
That'd be so sad, but we'd get more
So
Flacco.
awesome too.
Yeah,
I would stop praying for injuries. This bad.
that's bad, Jalen. Bad behavior.
Sorry, man. I just want to watch Flacco.
All right, let's call the fucking Dolphins and tell them to figure it out.
Yeah.
Imagine Flacco throwing to Tyreek Hill. Oh,
Oh my god. Dude. Oh,
so
he would
awesome.
probably go over 100 every single game.
It would be awesome.
Yeah. And yeah.
Chargers Broncos. Chargers somehow favored against the Broncos at home. Makes no sense to me. I'm taking the Broncos here. They've won 3 straight. They have looked better every week. Their defense is unbelievable. I know the Chargers got the bye week to get quote unquote healthy, but I don't think they're going to be healthy. I'm going to take the Broncos cover. I'm not going to touch the over under, although I am tempted to take the over at 35.5. It feels really low. That's my take.
I'm taking the Chargers. I think the Broncos have won too many games in a row, and I feel like this is a Harbaugh game. So give me the Chargers, and I think there's gonna be a safety in this game. So give me the Broncos +3 also.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Oh God, I might be at this game. I don't think I will be, but I'm trying to talk my dad into going down. Steelers Raiders in Los Angeles. The Raiders look awful.
Vegas.
Um, or yeah, in Vegas. What did I say?
Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, whatever. one of the relocated teams. So sick of having to track this. Steelers' offense is so bad. There's both these teams' offenses are bad. The only difference is I think the Raiders' defense is worse than the Steelers' defense. I do think the Steelers' quarterback situation is slightly better. Steelers' offensive situation is slightly better. That leads me to say Steelers -3, Steelers to win. This is it for me. If the Steelers lose this game, I will remove myself from the internet for, I don't know, 7 days or something because I won't be able to handle it. I will not be able to handle losing to the Raiders. This is a game we have to win if we want to be in playoff contention. I was thinking Yoffs 2 weeks ago. I was even thinking Yoffs last week. Now I'm thinking, great, are we gonna go 9-8 and miss the playoffs, but be good enough so Tomlin can keep this stupid record afloat. But this is it. This is my last push as a Steelers fan. We should never be favorited again. Steelers should pay Vegas to change the lines.
So you did Steelers -3, under 36.5.
I'm not gonna take the under. I don't think. I think it's too risky. But I'm gonna take
Dude,
the
it's
Steelers
hit
minus.
every week besides one.
All right, fine. I'll take the under.
There we go. We're back. I think you're stupid to not take the unders in Steelers games. So I'm gonna go Steelers and Steelers. No, Steelers and under 36.5.
All right.
I don't have much to say about this team right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
If they don't beat the
You want to know what
Raiders,
sucks
then
too?
I'm gonna pray for you. What?
Thank you. The next game. The next game sucks.
Falcons, Panthers.
Feels like the Falcons should win this game. 6.5 is way too much for a division game, so I'll be taking the Falcons to win and the Panthers to cover. Falcons coming off a rather impressive Thursday night win, although it felt like whoever had the ball last was going to win that game. The over/under here set at 47.5. I'm actually going to take the over. Feels like every game that the Panthers are involved in, the over is going to hit.
Okay. So you did Falcons. Did you take Panthers? Plus 6.5.
I took the Panthers plus 6.5 with the Falcons to win.
Okay. I'm gonna do Falcons, and I'm gonna take the Falcons by 6.5. And yeah, that's all. You took the over too, right?
Right. Yeah,
Over 47.5. Okay. Yeah, Kirk's gonna. I don't know. I gotta ride the Kirk train while it's hot.
absolutely. I'll take it. I understand. You're
Kirk
kind
versus
of off the
Dalton.
Andy Dalton thing.
No, no, no. I'm not off.
Okay.
I'm invested in the Panthers, dude. I've Chubba Hubbard.
No, I like it. Nice. Way to go.
Thanks.
Hubinator. I like him
Yeah.
actually. And I don't hate the Panthers. Now that, I mean, it's the like party is crashing and they're coming back down to earth and the Panthers are still one of the worst teams in the NFL, but at least it's watchable. It's unwatchable the other direction.
Yeah, I agree. They're at least. I mean, they at least like score some points now.
Yeah. The star of the afternoon games to me, Lions, Cowboys in Dallas. The Lions are 3-point favorites on the road in Dallas. Dallas coming off of a weird game against Pittsburgh. Oh, excuse me, Pittsburgh, where they had 2 red zone turnovers and a block kick and still won. They had 400 yards of total offense. They looked like they could run the ball. I don't know if that was a Steelers problem or if that was just they're figuring something out. Lions, on the other hand, coming off the bye. Is that right? They had a bye week last week,
Right.
and they looked like they were starting to put things together. They had a ridiculous Monday night game against the Seahawks. I like the Lions here. I like them -3. The over/under's at 52.5. It feels
Pretty high.
really gettable. The over feels really gettable though for how high it is. But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna risk again. Why not? I'm gonna go Lions cover over.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Lions and the Lions -3.
Nice.
I don't trust the over just because I think the Lions could dominate this team, but
It's
we'll
potential.
see.
I just don't. I'm not sold on the Lions defense yet.
I'm sold on Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, I'm sold on T.J. Watt. They still scored 24 points, which is kind of half of getting there.
Oh, when you have to be on the field for 48 out of the 60 minutes, it's bound to fall off at some point.
So brutal. So brutal. Bengals Giants. This game is two teams that are bad, although their records don't reflect, I think, how either of the teams have played this year. I don't necessarily believe in Daniel Jones and the Giants. I don't think the Bengals are as bad as 1-4. They've played, I think, two of the teams that I think are the best in the AFC really, really tough. Really tough. I mean, they took the Ravens to overtime. They took the Chiefs down to the last minute, but they can't play any defense. And I don't know if the Giants are going to be able to keep up with the way that the Bengals can score. 3.5 on the road feels weird. So you're telling me that would be 6.5 in Cincinnati? I don't think the Bengals should be favored much like this in this season. The Giants are coming off of a win. I've gone flip flop, waffled on this, but as you know, Jalen, I'm a Joe Burrow believer. I'm going to take the Bengals and the Bengals to cover.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that the Bengals lose this game. So I'm gonna take the
Zero
Bengals and I'm gonna take them 3.5. They should decimate this team.
for sure. One sec, my mom's calling me. Yes. Sorry, Jalen. Where were we?
Just talking about the Bengals and how they're just a really good 1-4 team, and they definitely shouldn't lose this game.
Yeah. No, I mean they are. For me it's really hard because the Bengals also lost to the New England Patriots, and that was week 1, and week 1 is 7 years away. So I don't really know what to think about that. But we're in week 7 here, week 6 here, and the Bengals offense looks like maybe the best offense in the NFL, at least top 5, right?
Sure.
And I don't think that there's any way they lose this game. If you lose to the
Oh,
Giants,
yeah. I'm so confident they'll win this game.
are you really?
Yeah, dude. I don't think there's no way they should lose this. It's the Giants. It's gonna
Yeah.
be Wandale Robinson and Tyrone Tracy Jr.
Yeah, how long is Malik Neighbors out?
He'll probably be back for this game.
Okay.
I think he just
That's
had
going to
a
be
concussion.
it's the Sunday night game, and really it's not the best game ever, but if you like watching good receivers, turn this game on.
Yeah, so fun fact, LSU receivers are the top 4 in yards this year. I think it goes Chase Neighbors, Jefferson Thomas in total
Um,
receiving yards. Nico Collins is up there too, but I
Collins
think
is
they have
one.
4 out of the top 5.
It's so Collins is one, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, then Metcalf and Jaden Reed, and then Brian Thomas at 6.
Oh, because Neighbors missed this last week.
His neighbor missed this week, but he's still at 7. So in
Yeah.
the top 10, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in the top. That's insane. All from
Yeah.
one university. And not, just for reference, nobody else that's in the top 10 went to the same university.
LSU is just pumping out wide receivers.
It's unbelievable. I mean, where did DK go? DK went to Ole Miss. Jaden Reed went to Michigan State. Yeah, so that's insane. It's insane. Great stat. Wow, great poll there, dude. Love that. Final game. The Bills Jets. I have been so disappointed in the Bills over the past 2 weeks. And the Jets are equally disappointing. This game feels like it means more to the Jets to me. Although it means a lot to both of the teams. And The Bills are favored by 3 in New York. The over-under set at 41.5. That over-under feels low to me.
41, yeah.
What are you thinking? Because I waffle on this a lot. I've been flip-flopping on this a lot because this game depends on who it means more to. It feels like it means a whole hell of a lot to both of these teams to win this one.
I am gonna trust Josh Allen in this game.
Yeah. Okay.
The Jets have looked really bad. The Jets could come out and win by 20, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
The Bills could come out and win by 20, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think the Bills have been sliding pretty hard the last couple weeks. I mean, the Ravens, I'll let it go, but the Texans game was ugly.
Yeah.
So I think they'll bounce back. They played the Texans tough, and I think very highly of the Texans. So I think they can beat the Jets.
Yeah, and the Texans game felt weird. It was one of those weird Josh Allen games where nothing was working, but I think this is part of the new look Bills. He doesn't have that number one receiver, and that's been really apparent the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, he needs Khalil Shakir back too.
Missing Shakir hurts. It feels like he doesn't have a safety blanket. He's been able to find Kincaid, but it's really easy to. Kincaid's a good player. I don't want to take away from him because I actually do think that he has the potential to be a really good tight end. He's only in year 2, and he is double teamed and chipped and hit on every play that he's out there.
Yeah.
There's something, and there was a series there where they went to him 4 or 5 times in a row. That doesn't work for anybody unless you're Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or maybe CD Lamb or whatever. Going to a guy 4 or 5 times in a row doesn't work, especially a second year tight end. So they need to figure out, are they going to run the ball with James Cook? Are they going to let James Cook get involved in the pass game? Are they going to figure out the Keon Coleman thing? Because right now it doesn't seem like they have an identity when Allen isn't being a magician. And the coaching in this game was atrocious. It's worth mentioning. In the Texans game was atrocious. The clock management was so bad.
Yeah, so we had two horrible displays of coaching in the afternoon slate. We had the Bengals get the ball in overtime, run it 3 times, and kick a 54-yard field goal after their quarterback has. I mean, I know he threw an interception and like in the fourth quarter, but the dude almost had 400 yards and 5 touchdowns at that point. Like, why are you just running it 3 times and trying to kick? Like, just try to move the ball, try to score. And then we have Josh Allen pinned on his own one. And
Throwing the
the
ball
Bills,
3 times in a row?
yeah, they decide they want to throw it 3 times, leave 6 seconds on the clock. And Stroud's like, if you're going to give me, the opportunity to make one pass and get in field goal range, I have an insane field goal kicker on my team. Kicks a 59-yarder right down the middle.
No
Texans win.
problem. You know.
So
So,
interesting coaching, but McDermott did say he owned it right after. So
oh yeah, great. I love that.
I mean, at least he acknowledged that it was bad. I didn't hear anything from Zach Taylor.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Mike Tomlin to be thrown in this category too. There was on that last drive 2 massive misuses of timeouts or non-uses of timeouts. There was one, the Steelers had 13 men on the field and we called a timeout. And in order to save 5 yards on the 50-yard line when Dallas needed to score a touchdown anyway. I don't really care about giving up 5 yards around the 50 at that point. You're probably going to give those yards up anyway. So there goes one timeout, completely burnt. Then he has a chance to call a timeout. after they deemed Dak to be inbounds but didn't score the touchdown, and instead let a 10-second runoff happen. And then we backed them up, but then we only, instead of 47 seconds, there were 37 seconds. Then we backed them up, and then they didn't score. And then, we could have called you know, so bad. And then Dallas calls a timeout. And then we call another timeout to get the positional thing figured out. Tomlin was so bad at the end of the game. We've had some displays of awful coaching at the end of the game. And Tomlin always gets a pass on this because he's Mike Tomlin and he has like a fun way of talking. But it was horrible at the end of the game. Just wanted to throw that out there. If you can't tell, I'm pissed. I'm going to take the Bills and take the Bills to cover. I'm going to take the over. I'm going all three. Feels like to me a little bit after hearing you talk about it. Yeah, I trust Josh Allen more than I trust Aaron Rodgers. The Jets
I think Aaron
seem
Rodgers is kind of hurt.
he has to be, right?
He got drilled a couple times in that Minnesota game, and I know he was already coming off of like a little bit of a knee injury 2 weeks
He's
ago.
also
So
he's also 40 coming off of a torn Achilles.
yeah,
You know? I mean,
and
look, I'm
having to throw the
almost
ball
30.
that much.
I'm almost 30. If I sleep on a couch wrong, it sets me off for 2 days.
Oh yeah, dude. If I look out my back window in my car wrong, my neck is, you know, hooked for
Yeah.
2, 3 days.
Yeah.
I can't
The
imagine
guy
what
is
having like 300-pound monsters land on you feels like.
and having to run on turf
Yeah.
and flying. Oh, dude, I feel so bad for these guys flying to England, just smashing their bodies to smithereens, and then like, all right, let's hop on the 7-hour flight back home, boys.
Yeah, after
After
Robert
playing
Salah.
football, Robert Salah. But
When's
yeah,
he
so
is he gonna get fired if they lose this?
probably. I think you have
Who's on
to.
the
I
hot
think you
seat
have to
this
do
week?
something. Hottest seats right now.
Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni way up there. Doug Peterson way up
Yep.
there. Um, Salah
Zach Taylor.
way up there. Zach Taylor up there, but not all the way up there. But up there.
Dude, if they go 1-5, if they lose this game, it's looking really bad for him.
It looks really dark. Antonio Pierce for the Raiders. If they lose, seat gets real warm, real fast. Although I don't think the Raiders' problem is they're paying two coaches way too much money. I don't think they have any money to pay another coach, so they might just be stuck there. Um, Other than that,
Yeah.
I think most jobs are safe. Gannon's safe, and the Cardinals, he's too fresh, and things are too weird there. But
There's no
yeah, I mean,
expectation.
Salah. Yeah, there's no expectation. There's so much expectation in New York, and they've won 2 games, and the 2 teams they beat are terrible. They can't beat good teams.
How they beat the Pats and the Titans, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's tough.
yeah, and they lost to the Broncos 10-9, and I mean the loss of the Vikings too. And this is again, it's more of a tilt to the Vikings than anything, but that's a game the Vikings should have lost
Probably, yeah.
down the stretch there, and the Jets are infuriating because they have zero offensive identity.
Yeah, what's the over/under on Rodgers putting his arms up at receivers this week?
That's a great question, actually. That's a great question.
I think I put it 3.5. Because it seems like Garrett Wilson always gets one.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson's gonna get one. Um, am I allowed to count putting his hands up at Robert Salah as one of these?
Yes. We can count that.
3.5. I take the over. Yeah, because he's gonna turn. He's gonna turn and he's gonna do one of these to Salah like he doesn't know what the play call was, or as if it was dumb, as if Rodgers didn't force them to bring Hackett in as the O coordinator. Um,
Yeah. Ooh, I have
which is
another
so
fun one. Brees
hit me.
Hall over or under 35 rushing yards.
Dude, how dark has the Brees Hall thing gotten?
It's been so bad. I want to
So
trade for
bad.
him.
I have them, and I'm just holding on. I have them in. There's no one more
Please
over
do that.
leveraged in fantasy than me. I have him in every league. Every single league I'm in, I have him.
Yeah, that's the Drew Fleming. That's what I call that. He drafted Michael Pittman in 3 or 4 leagues this year.
Oh, way to go!
Yeah.
God
Oh
damn.
man. Crazy stuff in New York. I hope it gets crazier. I would love to see him lose, to
I
be
hope it
honest.
gets weird. I hope it gets so weird. I hope
All
they
right.
fire Salah. That's what I hope. I hope they get rid of Salah and the O coordinator and everything.
Yeah, why
But
can't
Hack
why
will
can't
go.
Belichick come in?
Oh,
Belichick should
really
coach the
vengeance.
Eagles.
He's been stroking that cowboy job. And by the way, fat Mike McCarthy should not be not on the hot seat.
Dude, he saved himself this week against you guys.
I know, but if he loses this week to, I guess no, because it's the Lions. See, the thing is that
Yeah.
win against Pittsburgh's huge because if he loses to Pittsburgh there, and then he loses to Detroit, and then he loses to the Niners, they fire him before the Falcons game.
One win. One win saves people's legacies. Kind of like a. Oh, you probably know where I'm going with that. By Mr. Frosted Tips in Cincinnati.
Oh, just so everyone knows, Jalen and I had like a full argument riding on the result of the Cincinnati
During the
Ravens
game.
game.
During
During the
the
game.
the
Like,
the craziest parts of the game too.
just full argument, full text argument about.
It was so good. So we
And I was convinced when the Bengals got the fumble recovery, they were going to score and win, and I was going to be able to make this argument on the pod today. And then the
it was
snap's
so
bad, the
bad.
whole bad, and McPherson misses by a mile to the left, and the
So
Ravens
we're
turn
just
around.
we're just going at it. Like I'm like, no, I'd take Lamar over Burrow any day. And you're like, no, I'd take Burrow, and I'm like, oh yeah, because he got to the Super Bowl in 2022, and you're like, hey man, it means a lot to get to the Super Bowl, and I'm like, we got into this whole argument about like me basically saying, I don't care how far you made it, you still lost. That's all people are gonna remember you for when your career's done. They're gonna remember you as you lost in the Super Bowl.
And I'm
And
saying at
Lamar
least that he can be
has a couple
remembered for losing
MVPs.
the Super Bowl. Yeah,
But
but like,
that's not like a good thing.
does anybody
Nobody
ever talk about
cares.
Matt Ryan's MVPs?
Charlie, you want to do this right now? I have all the QBs that have made it to the Super Bowl and lost, okay? I want you to tell me if they're good or not. Preview for
Please.
next week after the Bengals lose to the Giants.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to love some of these names and Joe Burrow's in the mix now.
I know there's some in there that are great quarterbacks.
Yeah, but we're not picking the great ones.
I hope Peyton Manning's there, and I hope Ben Roethlisberger's there. They lost
No,
Super
but
Bowls.
do you know who is there? Jake Delhomme,
Yeah, I remember
Rex
that.
Grossman,
Rexy
Matt
Rexy.
Hasselbeck, Jimmy G,
Matt Hasselbeck. Jimmy G.
Donovan McNabb.
McNabb is, don't sleep on McNabb. He had a couple great years. He was awesome.
Look, this is support for Joe Burrow being the second best quarterback in the NFL. Okay, we got to tweak the argument a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Jalen was also under the impression that I wouldn't take Josh Allen or CJ Stroud or maybe a couple other guys before I would take him.
Um, dude, this is so funny. This says, you seem to hold a lot of weight in the 2022 Bengals Super Bowl appearance, and also consider it as an outstanding achievement, in parentheses, loser talk. So I thought it would be fun to gather a list of a few QBs who have made it to the Super Bowl and also achieved this. Matt Hasselbeck, Jake Delhomme, Rex Grossman, Jimmy G, Kaepernick, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, Donovan McNabb, Cam Newton. I have fun exercise number 2. Since you think beating Patrick Mahomes one time automatically makes you the second best QB in the league, let's talk about a few QBs who beat Tom Brady. Mark Sanchez, Jake Plummer, Nick Foles. Elite company. Lamar is 5-1 against Joe Burrow in his career. And then I have this exercise of who do you think is better? Hollywood Brown or Jamar Chase?
Oh God.
Go ahead, because that's who Lamar has thrown the most yards to in his career. Probably Jamar
Oh,
Chase,
oh
right?
really? He's thrown more yards to him than he has Mark Andrews.
Receivers, yeah.
Okay. More okay. Okay,
So you're
but
taking Jamar Chase, probably,
so
right?
so so wait, who has Mahomes thrown most yards to?
Kelsey,
Who did Brady throw the most yards to in his career?
probably Gronk.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. Is it Gronk?
Yeah, it's Gronk. It's got to be Gronk.
I know it's most touchdowns to Gronk for sure. Okay, Gus Edwards or Joe
Gronk.
Mixon? Don't do it. Don't say
Well,
Gus
now you
Edwards.
got
You know
Derrick
the
Henry,
answer.
but no, it's Joe
Okay,
Mixon. But
now,
yeah,
now, yeah, now we do. I also have a side note. Joe Burrow's fault for losing against the Chiefs and the Ravens this year. Had a Will Levis fumble against the Chiefs, ruined the game. Interception, fourth quarter, loss to the Ravens. And then I have an NBA
yeah,
comparison.
no, there's just nothing that I'm gonna like. Burrow threw for 5 touchdowns.
Oh, cool, man. Oh, you know what? I actually have a stat for this too. I came prepared.
You
Quarterbacks who
really
have
came
thrown
prepared in this.
quarterbacks who have thrown for 5 touchdowns. Did I save the screenshot? Charlie,
How about
I
multiple
had this.
times in their career?
Oh, the last person to do it was Lamar Jackson before Joe Burrow just did it.
That's hilarious.
Um, yeah, and then I just said Joe Burrow is just Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller's like an all-time great player, though.
Sure, but what's he known for? Losing to Michael Jordan in the finals.
There's a lot of guys known for that.
Okay. I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys known for losing in the championship game.
There's an easy argument. There's a lot of guys known for losing to Michael Jordan, but there's not a lot of guys known for losing to Matt Stafford.
Yeah, just your guy.
It's my guy, who
Yep.
apparently dying on Burrow Hill is like this lonely hill.
No, I just see this was all for Joe Burrow being the second best quarterback. That's all.
I could appreciate it, honestly. It's funny as shit.
It is funny. I have him ranked 6, by the way. So
Oh,
it's
okay,
not
that's
like
fair. I think I have him somewhere
I'm
four
not
or
some
five.
huge hater. Like I think he's really good. I don't know. I think we need to dial it back and people need to come back down from the Super Bowl 3 years ago.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's again, I think I told you this the year after that he had made the Super Bowl. I probably would have told you number 2. And then
Yeah.
after last year, things got weird after last year. Just period. The injury, the weirdness to start this year, the nature of his injury was really weird. So I got a little bit distant from it. Plus, it feels like to not take Allen would be kind of foolish as your second best guy. And I love CJ Stroud. I think he's really good. I'm like kind of over leveraging the Stroud market as well. Like I have bought way too much Stroud stock and am sitting on that island maybe a little bit too hard. But
Oh look, we found something we can agree on because I have him ranked ahead of Joe Burrow.
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And
Also a 5 touchdown thrower, CJ Stroud.
oh yeah, he's ridiculous. I mean, I bet you Dak has a 5 touchdown game.
Yeah, he does. Russell Wilson has
Yeah.
two. You'll
Tyler
never
has
guess
one, I'm
who's on
sure.
the list.
Dude, I bet you Trevor Lawrence is on that list somewhere.
Daniel Jones.
Is he really?
Yes, he really is. Russell Wilson's on here 3 times.
Multiple times, dude. People forget how good he was. He was
Lamar's
so
on
good.
here. Lamar's on here 4 times.
Yeah, dude, that year that he won MVP the first time, he had a couple of games where it was insane.
Yeah, and then it's just, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, your goats.
The 30 for 30 years still my favorite year of football from a single
Jameis probably
quarterback.
had 5 picks in this game.
Oh, 100%. Do you know who it was against?
It was against Green Bay. He was 14 of 20 with 5 touchdowns.
Oh no, he was playing for the Saints then, right?
Yes.
No, yeah, I think he had one pick.
Oh, Lamar was 15 of
Oh yeah,
20 for 5 touchdowns in this game. Wow.
I think he had 0 picks. He's
That
done
was
it
peak Jameis.
twice. He did it once against Philadelphia when he was on Tampa Bay, and once against Green Bay, both times with no picks. What a goat.
Yeah. Go.
I love Jameis so much. Bring him back. Let him play
I love
football.
I love football.
I do too, man. It was a great week. At the
Yeah,
end,
just
there were some
just
awesome
watching
endings.
for 14 hours, like having the combo of the Vikings playing at 7 a.m. and then having to not finish the Pittsburgh game till 11:30. I I didn't even I felt like time just didn't even move. I was just on my couch from sunrise to sunset.
Yeah, and college was fun this week too. So many upsets. I
Oh,
also
college was so good.
can I just do one shout out? I know we talk about Travis Hunter on here a lot. Ashton Genty is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He is 95. This year where he's played 5 games. 95 carries, 1,031 yards. He's averaging 10.9, 11 yards per carry, 16 touchdowns.
Yeah, at this point, picking betting on him to score 3 touchdowns is like it's got to be like minus 120.
They're playing Hawaii this week.
Yeah, I'll take the touchdown bet for him for sure. I'll parlay it with Derrick Henry touchdown.
Oh, that'll hit. He had
Surely.
he had this in one half. 13 carries, 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was in
Yeah,
a
dude, he
half.
didn't even he didn't even play the second half of the Utah State game, which is crazy because his numbers could be even more absurd than they actually are.
No, there's 2 games where he didn't, because he didn't play the second half of the Portland State game either, where he had 11 carries for 127 yards.
Yeah, he's. You think he's going to be a good NFL player?
I don't know. It's so hard to judge these running backs. He's low to the ground, and he's like kind of a bowling ball. Like if people just bounce off of him,
Yeah.
and the people are going to say, well, he's playing Utah State, and he's playing Portland State. His numbers against Oregon were insane.
Yeah, I just
Um,
I had this like I have this thing with guys that put up ridiculous numbers where I'm just like, you have to be good.
yeah, so I
Like
mean,
just
if you
because you're
want to
doing
like
it
put
against
him,
bad teams, like whatever.
I saw them compare him to the last Heisman winners at running back at this point in the season, and he was 200 yards more, like 8 touchdowns more than all of those guys. And those guys, by the way, are Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram. Reggie Bush, and maybe Trent Richardson. So the only one of those guys that didn't really work out was Richardson, but Ingram, Bush, and um, Henry obviously all worked out pretty goddamn well. Henry and Ingram in particular. Bush was all right in the NFL, but um,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I had the
there,
same thing with Jaden Daniels last year, where everyone's like, "Oh, well, he's doing it against like these bad teams." I'm like, dude, he's scoring 6 touchdowns in these games. Like, you can't be bad and be
yeah, you
doing
can't be a
this.
shitty player.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he's 5'9". That's probably the biggest knock.
Yeah, is that just bad to be in the NFL? Short running backs?
He's just not massive. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know the average height of an NFL running back.
Probably 6 feet.
God,
How many
wow.
inches? 72?
It says 70. It says 70 and 70.73, which is 5'8".
5'10".
70.73
Yeah, it should be 5'10".
comes out to 5.89 feet.
Yeah, but 8.9 of a foot. You're left with 2 inches. 'Cause 6 feet is 72 inches. But he's around there.
70 inches is 5'8". Dude, I don't know. I don't know why we have inches to foot, dude. I don't know why
Charlie,
it
it's
works out that way.
5.83 feet. It's 5 feet 10 inches. 0.83.
Oh, dude, see, and this is why it's even dumber. Okay? Do you see why this is dumb?
Charlie, I'm the math guy.
No, I know, but do you see why this is dumb? To be 5.83 because we count
Yeah.
our shit, being 5'11" isn't a full. Do you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that would be like 5.91 or something.
Oh, see, dude, that's so fuck. This is why we're so fucking stupid, dude. It was made to make people like me feel dumb. I get what you're saying, though. Yeah, it's 5'10". Yeah,
Yeah.
good move. You're the math guy. I'm not the math guy.
Look, I don't read. You can read. So
I'll read for
I'm
us,
good. I'm
even
good
though I
with
guess I'm
numbers. You're good
dyslexic.
with books. I didn't even know you were dyslexic.
Oh yeah, dyslexic as fuck. All right. Thank you for whoever listened, and Holly, you can probably cut the end of that, but